All right, everybody, we're back in the car, come back from the gym. I think that this is going to be a daily thing because, obviously I'm leaving the gym in a good mood. I got some things on my mind with crypto I want to talk about. I think it's just like a fun little forum for us. Obviously, we're still going to have the videos on the computer, but you know what? I think these are good talks. I hope you guys are enjoying them as well. So today's is going to be kind of just zooming out for a second because we've been so locked into what's happening today, yesterday, this week, next week. Let's look at the multi-year state of crypto and what we're in. So right now we're seeing a lot of people talking about regulation coming in. The US government's going to crack down on this, blah, blah, blah. Russia's banning Bitcoin as payments, all this stuff, all this negative FUD. And this is from, I've been in crypto since the end of 2016 going into 2017. And oh my God, if I could bring you guys back to that time period, I'm sure some of you may have been around. But some of the things you'd hear about crypto, 10 times worse than that. At that point, there was no clarity, no direction of where this was going exactly. It felt like, honestly, this whole industry could go down any day because, it just hadn't been around for that long and it was such a mystery. But at this point, I just think it's too far along, Too many people know about it, are invested into it. Too many people with power, Too many people that really do have a lot of influence in this world are into crypto or into blockchain or into the metaverse, into NFTs. So I just think all this is kind of here to stay, and I don't think anyone necessarily wants it to go away. So the U.S. government's going to have a hard time kind of shooing it away if that's their plan. But the other part is that, okay, number one, I think people are really veering away from stable coins, such as, let's say, USDC or any other comparative. Obviously, I don't love Tether, but I think that's probably, if we're going to move to crypto, that's the most likely thing that's going to happen, is that it's really going to be through stable coins. Obviously, I just think that we're in it for the blockchain tech, not necessarily just some random cryptos that could be used for payments. I just think everything's way too volatile for it to actually be a properly functioning way of holding wealth. Not when you're not really thinking about like the year to year, when you're just thinking of like, oh, let me put like my savings into this. Well, I don't know about if you want to put your savings in something that's so up and down, So I think that stable coins are probably the best bet to get into crypto for like mainstream wise, and then we'll kind of go from there. So I think that the US government could in the future maybe come out with some sort of stable coin, and then from there, if you want to start exploring assets such as Bitcoin that people may turn to as a sort of scarce store of value, a deflationary asset, or if you want to get into DeFi, which I think DeFi is probably, they're going to get cracked down on in terms of regulation a bit. But if you want to get into DeFi, you're going to be using things like Ethereum. So I just think that, I don't necessarily believe crypto is going away, but I do think that a lot of these things like 200% APR, these sketchy websites, maybe not necessarily going to be here for the long haul. So I think you want to, if you're really thinking long term, in the short term, you can make a killing off of some of these things. But for the long term, I think you really want to dial in on what is the cleanest cryptocurrency. And what I mean by clean is what's least likely to get regulated heavily. What's the least sketchy site, which has the most amount of attention and proper usage, where it could be in line with future policy in the US or foreign policy. And those are the kind of coins that I'm really looking into for the long term. So what comes to mind for me right off the bat is Ethereum. I think Ethereum is one of the best creations of this kind of new generation, this new kind of revolution, if you will, just because there's nothing like Ethereum. And I think what people don't understand is like the actual use case of Ether, like the coin, is just beyond phenomenal. The stars are aligning where it happens to be, obviously, the number one most used blockchain with the most dApps and layer 2s built on it. And it also happens to have one of the highest rates for gas fees, which in turn makes Ethereum itself very, very valuable. So that's where I'm parking a lot of my money, because I don't think that they're going to fix the gas fee problem very soon. But I also don't think it's much of a problem as an investor. I think as a user of the program, it's a bit of a problem. But I think it's just so convenient and so trustworthy as a whole that that the actual users aren't going away anytime soon. And if anything, they're just going to use Ethereum more and more. It's also moving to proof of stake. I think people are going to start cracking down on proof of work, which is why I don't love Bitcoin right now. We're already seeing Texas doesn't want Bitcoin miners to stay active because of all the energy they're using. So I'm loving Ethereum right now, to be honest. That's my coin. I think that is the most likely coin around right now to survive for the long term. So other ones, I think just other layer ones, Solana, Avalanche, those are good plays too. But just, yeah, that basically sums up what I want to say in this video. Just really, if you're looking for the long term, look for these assets, truly assets that have proper functionality, that have a good use case, like Ethereum. And most of the coins that you're going to find that are going to do the best the next 5 to 10 years, I will say, are probably already in the top 25, just because that's where most of the attention is going in terms of the developers and whatnot. And any other project that comes onto the scene is going to have team members that worked on Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, and whatnot, because those are the biggest experts in the space. Those are the ones that truly know what they're doing. You're not just going to see a project come onto the scene and be better than these programs when their team members are, have lacked the experience to truly do something amazing. So yes, there's going to be some innovation, but I think it's going to come from the players that are already in the game. So that's my perspective. I'm loving Ethereum more and more as time goes on, and like I said, maybe Solana or Avalanche could be in there too. But I think you want to look at proof of stake networks that have some sort of use case that also are not going away anytime soon. And for me, that is Ethereum. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Make sure to like and subscribe. More and more of these videos coming out every single day. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.